There is a point where simply being good enough stops being enough. Not because it become harsher, but because your awareness. You begin to notice something uncomfortable. If you do not accept standard living as final identity, this is the transition from standard to sovereign. Standard living is more understated. It is consuming more than you create. It is reacting more than you decide. You stop noticing that your time is being traded cheaply. You stop noticing that your decisions are being outsourced to reaction. Because nothing collapses faster than not being consciously directed. Sovereignty is not about status. It is about internal authority. A sovereign individual does not wait for permission to improve. They do not depend on perfect conditions. They do not outsource responsibility for their outcomes. Instead, they operate from a simple principle. Is greater than. If this is meant to be, then I must understand how it works. Once you stop asking, why is this happening? And start asking, what can I change immediately? Sovereignty begin when blame end. Not blame for people, but blame for control. You stop giving invisible authority to circumstances. And you start reclaiming it. Most people live in a consumption loop. Information, entertainment, opinions, noise. They are constantly filling their mind but rarely directing it. Sovereign thinking breaks this loop. Because sovereignty requires output. Even small output. A thought organized. A decision executed without delay. Creation is not about scale at first. It is about direction. A sovereign person understands this rule. Is greater than. What you consistently create becomes your leverage. What you only consume becomes your limitation. So the first step out of standard living is not dramatic. It is intentional output. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think it is restriction. But discipline is not restriction. It is structural freedom. Without discipline, your day is designed by impulse. With discipline, your day is designed by intention. And there is a major difference between the two. Impulse reacts to what is loud. Intention responds to what is important. A sovereign person builds around intention. Fixed time for work. Controlled access to distraction. Clear boundaries for energy. Defined priorities before the day begins. Not because they are rigid, but because they are strategic. Freedom without structure is void. Structure without awareness is invalid. Sovereignty is the balance between both. Most people underestimate environment. But your environment is not passive. It is instructive. Your surroundings tell your mind what is normal. If your environment is chaotic, distraction becomes normal. If your environment is focused, discipline becomes normal. If your environment rewards delay, procrastination becomes normal. So sovereignty requires designing your space. Not perfectly. Not expensively. But intentionally. Ask simple questions. Does it support focus or fragmentation? Does it encourage clarity or noise? Does it pull me forward or pull me back? Opportunities may not be there, but time moves in one direction. And yet, most people treat time as if it is unlimited. Sovereignty treats time as allocated capital. Every hour is assigned value. Recovery. Learning. Execution. The difference between average progress and accelerated growth is time allocation. Working with structure. A sovereign person does not find time. They assign it and protect it. Emotional control break. If emotion is unregulated. Because when emotions set in without structure, decision become unstable. Sovereign individuals do not suppress emotion. They regulate response. They pause long enough to ask, is this decision aligned with long-term direction? Or is this just temporary discomfort? This is not emotional coldness. It is emotional direction. You do not eliminate feelings. You prevent feelings from hijacking direction. That is sovereignty. Review your day instead of forgetting it. These are not dramatic actions. They are compounding actions. And compounding is the hidden engine of sovereignty. Because what looks small today becomes structural tomorrow. When you move from standard to sovereign, resistance appears immediately. Not external resistance first. Internal resistance. You will feel delay disguised as planning, doubt disguised as caution, distraction disguised as rest, fear disguised as logic. Because your old system is protecting itself. Every old pattern resists replacement. It is a transition signal. It means change is active. There is no final version of sovereignty. It is not a destination where everything becomes perfect. It is a daily practice of returning to control. Control of attention. Control of time. Control of output. Control of direction. Some days will be precise. Some days will be unstable. Sovereignty is not about never losing focus. It is about returning faster when you do.